There are things we do every single day, things that feel completely normal, even boring, that would get you fined, arrested, or flat out banned in most other countries. Buying alcohol at a gas station and even homeschooling. Yes, really. These are 30 things that are totally normal in America, but illegal almost everywhere else. Let's get into it. Let's start with something so normal, most of us have never once questioned it. Free refills. You sit down, order a Coke, finish it, and just get more. No extra charge, no weird looks, just more soda. But in most of Europe, that's not a thing. You pay per glass, every single time. Some countries consider the whole concept so foreign, restaurants don't even have the infrastructure for it. We just grew up assuming unlimited soda was a human right. And if free refills surprised you, this next one will make you realize how differently we move through the world, turning right on a red light. We do it without thinking. Quick glance left, foot off the brake, and gone. But in the UK, most of Europe, Australia, and China, that move is flat out illegal. Red means stop, full stop. The US introduced it during the 1970s energy crisis to save fuel. It stuck. The rest of the world never followed. But turning right on red is nothing compared to what's coming. In 48 US states, you can legally own a flamethrower. No license, no background check, no waiting period. Just buy one and take it home. Elon Musk's company, The Boring Company, sold over 20,000 of them in 2018 for $500 each. They sold out. In most countries, flamethrowers are classified as military weapons. Here, they're a novelty item you can order online. Only Maryland and California have restrictions. Everyone else? Go ahead. We sell military-grade fire devices at retail. But it gets stranger. In many U.S. states, you can walk into a farm store and buy raw, unpasteurized milk straight from the cow. No heat treatment, no processing. The EU bans retail sales of raw milk almost entirely. Canada restricts it federally. Australia prohibits it outright. The argument here is personal freedom, your body, your choice. But the rest of the world sees unpasteurized milk as a public health risk. We see it as a lifestyle option. Speaking of things the rest of the world doesn't trust you with, radar detectors. In most of the US, you can legally mount a radar detector in your car to avoid speed traps. In the UK, France, Germany, and most of Europe, that's illegal. The device itself is contraband. The thinking abroad is simple. If you need to detect speed cameras, you're planning to speed. Here, we call it being prepared. But here's where it gets ironic. Jaywalking, crossing the street outside a crosswalk, is technically illegal in most US states, but it's almost never enforced. Meanwhile, in Germany, people will wait at an empty crosswalk at 2 a.m. with 0 cars in sight. Because the light is red. Not because of cameras, just because that's the rule. We invented the law and then collectively agreed to ignore it. If you thought our relationship with rules was complicated, wait until you hear about gambling. Las Vegas-style commercial casinos, massive, open, legal, and accessible to anyone 21 and over, exist across multiple U.S. states. In Japan, casino gambling was fully illegal until 2018. In many Middle Eastern countries, it remains completely banned. Even in parts of Europe, casino access is tightly restricted or members only. We built entire cities around the concept. And then there's something so embedded in American TV that most of us don't even notice it anymore. Prescription drug commercials. Ask your doctor about, you know the ones. The United States and New Zealand are the only 2 countries in the world that allow pharmaceutical companies to advertise prescription drugs directly to consumers. Every other developed nation bans it. The concern is that patients start self-diagnosing and pressuring doctors into prescriptions. Here, it's just a Tuesday night commercial break, but the pharmaceutical ads are just background noise compared to this. In the US, you can legally own a firearm suppressor. It takes paperwork, a $200 tax stamp, and months of waiting, but it's legal. In the UK, Germany, Australia, and most of the developed world, suppressors are either heavily restricted or outright banned. Hollywood made them sound like assassination tools. In reality, they're mostly used by hunters and sport shooters to protect their hearing. Still illegal almost everywhere else. And if owning a suppressor raised your eyebrows, this one raises the stakes entirely. Open carry. In many U.S. states, you can walk down the street with a visible holstered firearm. No concealment required. In Texas, you can carry a handgun openly without even a license since 2021. Most of Europe, Australia, Japan, and Canada don't just restrict this, they can't even conceptualize it as a civilian norm. To much of the world, an armed civilian in a grocery store is an emergency. Here, it's Tuesday. From firearms to something a little more casual, but still shocking to outsiders. In most U.S. states, you can buy beer, wine, and sometimes full liquor at a gas station, fuel, and alcohol. One stop. In Norway, alcohol can only be sold at government-run stores. In many countries, gas stations are strictly fuel and snacks. We combined the road trip and the party into one convenient location. And in some states, those gas stations never close. Nevada, Louisiana, and parts of other states allow alcohol sales around the clock. No last call, no cutoff. Most of Europe enforces strict alcohol sale hours. The UK famously loosened its laws in 2005, and it was treated as a cultural revolution. We've had states with 24-hour sales for decades. Nobody wrote home about it. But the real story isn't just when we sell alcohol, it's what we put in it. Four Loko. In 2010, the FDA forced manufacturers to remove caffeine from alcoholic beverages after a wave of hospitalizations. But before the ban, drinks like Four Loko were widely available. High alcohol, heavily caffeinated, cheap, and sold in convenience stores. Most countries never allowed the combination in the first place. We had to learn that lesson the hard way. And just when you thought we'd hit the ceiling on alcohol innovation, powdered alcohol. In 2015, the U.S. became one of the only countries to approve Palcohol, a powdered alcohol product you mix with water. Most countries banned the concept before it even launched. The concerns were obvious, easy to conceal, easy to misuse. We approved it, launched it, and then watched it quietly disappear from shelves anyway. Speaking of convenience, drive-through liquor stores. They exist. In Texas, Louisiana, and Missouri, you can pull up in your car, order bottles of liquor through a window, and drive away. The rest of the world finds this concept almost incomprehensible. Most countries are tightening drunk driving laws. We built an entire retail format that lets you collect alcohol without leaving your vehicle. And from drive-thrus to something that genuinely stops foreign visitors in their tracks. Public shooting ranges in the U.S. are open to civilians, and in many states, children can shoot with parental supervision. There are birthday parties at shooting ranges, family outings. In Australia, Japan, and most of Europe, civilian access to firearms ranges is either heavily restricted or simply doesn't exist in that form. Here, it's an afternoon activity. Now we shift from the things that feel fun to one that feels deeply uncomfortable. Civil asset forfeiture. In the U.S., law enforcement can seize your cash, car, or property if they suspect it's connected to a crime, even without charging you. You don't have to be convicted. You don't even have to be arrested. Most developed countries require a criminal conviction before property can be permanently seized. Here, the burden is often on you to prove your own money is innocent. And civil asset forfeiture isn't the only area where American workers get a raw deal compared to the rest of the world. The U.S. is the only developed nation with no federal law guaranteeing paid vacation. 0 days, legally required. In France, workers are entitled to at least 30 paid days off per year. The UK guarantees 28. Here, your vacation time depends entirely on your employer's generosity. Some get 2 weeks, some get none. And the vacation situation connects directly to something every foreign visitor experiences the moment they sit down at an American restaurant. Tipping. Not optional tipping, expected tipping. 15 to 25% minimum, or you've committed a social crime. In Japan, tipping is considered rude. In most of Europe, it's a small gesture, not a wage subsidy. But in America, tipping exists because restaurants are legally allowed to pay servers below minimum wage. The customer makes up the difference. But even beyond tips, the American employment relationship is unlike almost anywhere else. At-will employment means your employer can fire you at any time for almost any reason without notice or severance. Most of Europe requires documented cause, notice periods, and severance packages. In Germany, firing someone without cause is extremely difficult legally. Here, your boss can let you go on a Tuesday because they felt like it. That's not a joke. That's the law. And the American legal system has another feature that the rest of the world finds almost impossible to explain: the commercial bail bond industry. If you're arrested and can't afford bail, a private bail bondsman will pay it for a non-refundable fee, usually 10%. The Philippines is the only other country with a similar system. Every other developed nation either has no cash bail or uses government-managed systems. Here, your freedom while awaiting trial is a private transaction. From the legal system to the landscape, because even American roads look different from the rest of the world. Billboards, massive, unavoidable, stacked on highways, looming over cities. Vermont, Maine, Hawaii, and Alaska have actually banned them, but most states allow them with minimal restriction. In much of Europe, outdoor advertising is tightly regulated to preserve aesthetics. We just kept building bigger signs. But the billboards are just the surface. Deeper in the American legal system, something even more unusual is happening: plea bargaining. Over 90% of U.S. criminal convictions come from plea deals, where defendants agree to plead guilty in exchange for reduced charges or sentences. Most countries use plea deals sparingly, if at all. Critics argue it pressures innocent people into confessions. Supporters say it keeps the court system functioning. Either way, it's uniquely American in scale. And while we're inside the courtroom, who's running it? In 39 U.S. states, judges are elected by popular vote. That means campaign ads, fundraising, political endorsements. In virtually every other country, judges are appointed through professional or governmental processes specifically to keep them out of politics. The concern is obvious. A judge who needs votes might make decisions with the next election in mind. Here, that's just how democracy works, apparently. And elected judges aren't the only uniquely American fixture inside the justice system: grand juries. Before many serious federal criminal cases can proceed, a group of regular citizens must secretly review evidence and decide whether charges should even be filed. Most countries abolished grand juries generations ago, viewing them as slow and redundant. The U.S. still uses them as a constitutional requirement. We kept the 18th century alive in the courtroom, and from the courtroom to the classroom, because how we educate our children is just as distinctly American. In the U.S., parents in most states can homeschool their children with minimal government oversight, no mandatory teacher qualifications, no required curriculum reviews, no standardized testing in many states. In Germany, homeschooling is completely illegal. Sweden banned it in 2010. Most of Europe requires regular state inspections of homeschooled children. Here, you can opt out of the system almost entirely. Here's the thing about all of this. None of it happened by accident. Free refills, flamethrowers, drive-through liquor stores, elected judges, these aren't glitches, they're features. America was built on the idea that individual freedom comes first, and the system bends around the person, not the other way around. Sometimes that looks like liberty. Sometimes it looks like chaos. Most of the time, it looks like both at once. And honestly, that's exactly what makes this country unlike anything else on the planet.